Hey there, and welcome back to the channel. So today I've got a big boy book in that I'm going to open up here and take a look at. So this is the Absolute edition of the Death of Superman that DC just came out with. And I've just kind of barely got it on screen here. My setup isn't really made for stuff this big, so we're going to see how this goes. Hopefully there's no problems. But yeah, I want to go through the book here and show you what's in it. And so this is the shipping box it's in, so let's see. I don't think it's taped up or anything. I think we could just open it. So yeah, I think I got it upside down here. Let's see here. Got some foam here. That's good. Definitely want this protected. And we got this big tombstone here. So yeah, this is kind of the big thing with this book, is that it is, you know, made up like the tombstone from the cover of the old issue back in '92. Let's see if I can this a little better. And just kind of for scale, this is the original comic. So yeah. Unfortunately, things are sideways right now just because this book is so big. We'll try to take a look at it here, see if we can get a better look. So yeah, so this is all wrapped up here out of the box. And so yeah, just some more styrofoam padding here. We'll go ahead and get this out of the way. And so yeah, here's the box the book is in. So yeah, it's all wrapped up. So let's open this up and take a look at what we have inside. Oh, so this is like a almost like a felt here around the edge here. That's nice. I just assumed that would be cardboard or something from the picture. Yeah, let's unwrap this. Don't need that. Oh, we got a little card here too. Okay, so this is the Death of Superman Absolute Edition. And yeah, it just kind of tells you what's in it and everything. And again, it's kind of continuing or collecting the Death of Superman story from '92. So everybody's pretty familiar with that. Looks like it has the Doomsday pages that led up to the story too. So every Superman book had a couple pages at the end where we saw Doomsday kind of breaking out of his prison back in the day. Oh man, this is not light. This is a big, heavy book. So let's see how this opens up here. Okay, so it feels like we've got a latch here on the side. It feels like it's magnetic. I would assume it is, for as nice as this set is. So yeah, open up. We've got this signed print here by Dan Jurgens. And so this is like some of the designs, I guess, for Doomsday back in the day. And that is signed. I'm not sure what the number is on that. It looks like, is it 1005? I guess of 1993. So that's how many copies they made. Yeah, we've got some little design work here of the Doomsday character. And yeah, that's kind of cool. So we'll set that aside. Definitely don't want anything to happen to that. Might frame that. And we've got this little ribbon here to help take the book out. And the book is all sealed too, which is good. So yeah, so in a black bag like the original comic was back in the day too. And so yeah, we have this nice kind of felt fabric here inside the box. And yeah, the back is just, you know, plain. So, but yeah, this is, I don't know, this is almost a life-size tombstone here. I've definitely seen smaller ones in real life. So, got this in the bag here. Let's see. I don't see like an obvious way to open it, so like I don't think it's resealable or anything like that. Oh, maybe here at the top, here on the edge. Okay, so here we go. So we don't have to tear it up. And here's, I'm trying not to tear the bag here. And so here's the book. Get that all on here. So yeah, a lot smaller than the Tombstone box that came in, which is nice. This will definitely fit on a shelf easily. But yeah, I probably will keep it in the Tombstone box just because it's such a novelty. And again, part of the reason I ordered this set in particular. So yeah, we've got this ribbon around it. Again, with sort of the same info from the little card in the package that we got. So let's go ahead and try to slide this off without tearing anything up. And so we've got a spot gloss Superman S, you know, the bloody version from the Superman 75 issue. And I hope this is showing up on camera here. We've got the Death of Superman Absolute Edition and the DC logo all in that sort of spot gloss on the matte black box. And let's see what we have inside here in the slipcase. Okay, so now I pre-ordered this last year. I think maybe it was in August or something like that, because again, this was supposed to be out before Christmas, I think, and it got pushed back to January. So I can't remember what all is in here now. So we've got a package here that says Daily Planet Press Archives, Save for Lois, Chief. So I think this is probably like some ancillary sort of extra material. It's meant to look like wrinkled paper, but it's not. This is all brand new and flat. We've got some sort of like coffee stains here on the back. So let's take a look at this and see what's in here, because oh boy, there's a bunch of stuff. Yeah, because again, this was solicited a while ago and I can't remember what all. I think we got one more thing in the folder here. Okay, oh, so a little trading card. Okay, so this looks like reproductions of stuff that came out promoting the Death of Superman back in '92. So let's see what we got. So we've got a trading card, because they did a Death of Superman trading card series back in the day. And so this looks like the prototype promo card from that. So I'm pretty sure I have the real thing of this from '92. I'm not sure if it came in a magazine or if it was something they gave out. This is some... I thought these were stamps originally. These are stickers, though. And I want to say this came with the bagged version of the Superman 75 issue from back in the day. Now, I know this did. So this item is the black armband with the Superman logo on it. This definitely came with the Superman 75 bag edition from '92. But I thought there was like some little sticker adhesive on it or something back in the day, which this doesn't seem to have. The fun thing with this, too, was pretty much throughout the main DC superhero books the month after, a lot of the characters were wearing this in the comics after Superman died. So if you see issues from back then, a lot of the characters were wearing this like in the regular books. Looks like we have a death certificate here for Superman. So yeah, and it is made out for Kal-El, aka Superman, so not Clark Kent. So I think this is a new item. I don't remember seeing this back then. And again, there's so much Death of Superman stuff back then. It's like, I probably would have come across this by now if this was released back in the day. So yeah, another little fun item. Oh, it looks like we have the program here from Superman's funeral, it looks like. So it says, a life of service, selflessness, and generosity, celebrating the life and inspiration of Superman. And I'm thinking that's Dan Jurgens' art there. I'm not sure if that's Brett Breeding on the inks. It doesn't look like him quite, or it might just be really blown up. But yeah, I'm not 100% on who the inker is on that. But let's take a look. So we have like an in memoriam, and then the service for Superman, and a list of pallbearers here. So yeah, oh, and an acknowledgement on the back. Got a nice silhouette of Superman there. So again, this is another new item. Again, something that they could have done back in the day. I wonder if this was an idea they had they just didn't get around to doing, or something they thought about after the fact when they were putting this set together. So this is another item from back in the day. So this is Superman's obituary from the Daily Planet. This was included in the original Superman 75 comic. And looks like we have a poster here. Okay, and I'm going to turn this sideways here so we can kind of see it on camera a little better here. But yeah, so this is a Death of Superman poster. I had this back in the day. I can't remember if this came with the Superman 75 comic. But yeah, I think this was included in the old copy of Superman 75 from back in the day. So yeah, we'll pull this up. Okay, so this was a magazine that was released after the death of Superman. So this is News Time. Again, kind of a mashup between Time and Newsweek from back in the day. So after the death of Superman, they didn't publish Superman comics for a couple months because the creators' thinking was, since the solicitations come out in advance, even before the death of Superman would have been in stores, you would have had solicitations for comics coming out the next month. And so they felt like that would undermine the impact of the death of Superman story. So I think the compromise in the DC offices was, okay, so if we're not going to publish Superman comics for a few months, you have to give us something else to publish. So this News Time magazine special, I think, was one of those items that they printed. They did this. There was the Legacy of Superman one-shot comic, and then like I think it was like a Team Luthor, like a Supergirl and Lex Luthor book one-shot too that came out. And so these were all sort of that publishing initiative, since DC wasn't going to be printing Superman comics for a couple months. And so this just looks like a facsimile, you know, new printing of that magazine from back in the day. Yeah, this, because I have the original magazine, and yeah, this all looks like the original copy of the magazine. And so yeah, we've got the big ad here in the beginning. Things are booming in Coast City because in the Green Lantern comics right around this time, Coast City was blown up. Oh yeah, I've got a little ding on the magazine here too. I don't know if that's showing up. Yeah, not crazy about that for something that just came out of the box, but it's not the end of the world. And again, I've got the original. So let's set all this stuff aside, out of the way for right now. And so here's the actual book. And again, it's sealed, so we'll need to open this up so we can take a look at it. Be careful not to cut it. Definitely don't want to damage this. Oh, so the red section here I thought was just printed, but it looks like that's a separate piece that's going over the book. That is crazy. Yeah, so this is a fabric piece that's going over the hardcover book. So that's like Superman's cape when it's destroyed and kind of flapping in the wind. But yeah, that is like almost like a cover for the book. And oh boy, yeah, so, and it's not glued on, it's just like a separate piece. But yeah, being die cut like that, I could see that getting real dinged up real easy. Oh boy, yeah. So all these jagged edges here. I'm going to take this off for right now and set this aside because I'm really worried about screwing that up. Yeah, that seems like a fragile piece and something to kind of keep an eye on in the future with this collection. So here's the book. Again, we've got sort of a black matte cover with black spot gloss on it. And so we have this image of Superman, kind of his body laying in the street here. And it kind of continues onto the back. And we've got Doomsday's shadow standing over him here. I think this was promotional art that was done later. I have seen this image before. I just cannot remember what it was on now. I don't know if it was a poster they did after the fact, but I don't think this was part of the actual Death of Superman storyline in the specific comics. I'm pretty sure this is Jerry Ordway art here. Oh yeah, so down here we've got the signature of Jurgens and Ordway. So it's Dan Jurgens penciling with Jerry Ordway inking, so that's where I'm recognizing the Ordway lines from. So yeah, here's the inside. Got nice use of red and yellow on the black pages there. So yeah, we've got like an introduction here. Okay, so here are the Doomsday pages, sort of like the prologue to the Death of Superman storyline, where we just see Doomsday kind of breaking out of his prison. And again, these were the last couple pages of the Superman books before the actual Death of Superman story started up with Doomsday. And so, yeah, so this is a absolute edition. So, you know, again, this is a bigger size book. Let me grab comic again. So again, this is the actual comic. This is the size comparison there between that and the Absolute edition. Again, Absolutes are usually done at like the size the art is done at, so it's bigger because, you know, comics are drawn bigger and then they're shrunk down for printing. And, you know, it doesn't look like this has been recolored or anything like that. It's still the original colors. It's probably more vibrant because of the, you know, glossier paper stock they're using, because comics were still pretty much being done on like a form of newsprint at the time, which would absorb more of the colors. And I think it works for this. Just having more saturation with the colors. I mean, that's always kind of a debate with reprints, but I think it works here, especially for this nice big collection. And so here we are into the Death of Superman story from Superman 75, where we've got the every page is a splash page. And so let's see, did they do the fold out? They probably did. Okay, yeah, so the story ends, spoilers for a story from 92. This last page folds out here. Let's see if we can get it all on camera here. So yeah, so this is how the book was originally published back in the day, where the last page folded out like this. And so they did do this here. And again, this is about the middle of the book. And they have done that in collections and things too. And so, okay, so here's the cover, or the cover to the edition that came in the bag for Superman 75. And then we go into the Funeral for a Friend after that. And so it looks like this is a lot of making of kind of stuff here. We've got notes from the summit. Yeah, this is pretty detailed. Wow. We got some creation of Doomsday stuff here. Again, here's the print that came included with the book. And so it looks like we've got some black and white original art here from the book. So we've got some penciled pages and then ink next to them, just sort of comparison. Again, kind of a nice example too, if you know you were interested in how comics are made, kind of seeing the penciled version and then the inked. Just sort of how the process works for comic book production. And so, yeah, so it looks like we have Dan Jurgens' script here for Superman 75. And then we have penciled and inked versions. Looks like we've got some darker lines here coming on the beams. I can't tell if that was inked directly on the page there, or if that's just like a different kind of lead being used there. Or graphite, I guess. Oh, here's an interesting change. So we've got Doomsday lifting up Superman here, but here on the original pencil page, he still has some of the suit on him, which was long gone by this time of the story. So that's interesting. Yeah, same thing here too on these previous pages. So it looks like maybe Doomsday was supposed to keep the suit on longer than he did, or maybe these pages were done like in advance of the rest of the storyline. Because yeah, we've got Doomsday still in his like prison suit here, but it's been changed here on the inked pages. So that's interesting. I wonder if Jurgens started penciling before the other issues were done, or maybe they were all working simultaneously. Because yeah, throughout here we've got Doomsday still in his suit. Okay, so yeah, here we've got, this is closer to the actual printed page here. So yeah, I wonder if Jurgens got a jump on this and just got too far ahead maybe when he started off. So yeah, because here these pages line up pretty well to the published versions. But yeah, that's something interesting to see. I wonder if they talk about that in the book anywhere. So yeah, let's get to the... And okay, so here is the the last page where Lois is holding Superman's body, and we've got the fold out for this too. So there's the penciled versions, and then here's the inked. So yeah, they really went all out with this edition here, because yeah, that would be a real pain to kind of set all that up for printing. So it looks like this is the original design, or maybe like a concept of the Tombstone cover here. And oh, and so it looks like they're talking about the actual Tombstone box from the book here too. That's interesting. Looks like we've got some development on the Bloody S logo. We've got looks like we've got Glenn Whitmore, one of the colorists, talking about there. And oh, and here's like some promo stuff. So here's the cover previews. RIP. Yeah, this was a house ad I remember seeing in a bunch of the DC books leading up to the Death of Superman storyline. So yeah, all kinds of promo stuff in here. A lot of behind the scenes. Oh, looks like this is all the cards too. This is the card series. So that's interesting. I have those somewhere. I think I ended up buying the set eventually to get them all. Oh yeah, I think these were the chase cards, I think. Or oh no, this was the other series they did. There was a series of painted Superman cards that came out too. I think those are from that. This is the cover to the first trade collection of the storyline from back in the day too. Got a couple copies of that somewhere. This was a Wizard special, I'm pretty sure. This was like a Superman Wizard special or something like that. What did they call it? Yeah, Wizard Superman Tribute Edition. So here's the original color and pencils for that. This was like kind of foil cover too back in the day, I remember. Oh, talking about the novel adaptations that they did, that's interesting. You don't hear about that a lot. So yeah, this is a pretty thorough collection here of the Death of Superman. So I think if you haven't read this before, this might be a lot to start with. But if you're a fan of this storyline, this is definitely worth checking out just for all the kind of behind the scenes and kind of making of. I don't think there's going to be a more thorough edition of this coming out unless they do something for the 50th or something like that. But yeah, that's the absolute edition of the Death of Superman. Comes with all this stuff. Looks like a really good book. Can't wait to kind of get through this and kind of read everything. But yeah, this is a big book, and again, it's definitely a big box too for everything. But yeah, now this was a pretty pricey book. I want to say the cover price was $150 for this. And it was supposed to be limited, so I got mine okay, and I pre-ordered mine, so I got a discount on it. But, I mean, you're going to have to decide for yourself if it's worth the price or not. I don't know if it's still available, if you can still get this, because it was limited. I definitely ordered mine as soon as I could. This was such a big storyline from my youth back in the day, so I definitely wanted to have this. Again, this was a thing where I tracked down all the issues early on as they were coming out. And again, everybody was scrambling for this book back in the day. This was the book that was going to put their kids through college someday. And of course, you know, as we all learned through the bust of the 90s, that wasn't the case. But this is just a really nice version of this. What do you think of this? Did you pick this book up? Let me know in the comments below. And thanks for watching. If you'd like to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter/X @Detective651. Also on Instagram @Detective651. Be sure to check out my t-shirt store at tpublic.com/user/detective651. I've got a lot of nerdy designs on there, and there's sales all the time, so check it out frequently.